Hey guys, and welcome to another fun-filled episode.
We're excited to see all of the awards that great games are getting at Origins and Dice Tower Con, and we're looking forward to Gen Con and then seeing what the Spiel winners are going to be later this year.
We've been playing lots of Codenames and Karuba and Imhotep, and then we've also been playing another very cool Egyptian-themed game, Ra.
Yes, Ra just got an awesome facelift as it's been published by Asmodee and WindRider games, and we're going to look at it today in our Terrible 2
Minute Review. Ra is a 2 to 5 player set collection and bidding game from one of our favorite designers, Reiner Knizia.
In Ra, the players take the roles of lords of Egypt, striving to please the gods and achieve eternal glory.
The game takes place over the course of 3 epochs. At the very beginning of the game, each player is given a set of sun tokens, sun discs, that they'll be using for bidding throughout the game.
Then, each turn, players take one of 3 actions that either draw a tile into the auction track, invoke Ra, or spend a god tile.
When players draw a tile, they pull it out of the bag and they place it onto the auction track, and those tiles will continue to add up until
someone invokes Ra. Then, beginning with the next player, each player decides whether or not to bid one of their sun tokens. Whoever bids the highest sun disk token then wins all of the tiles that have accumulated and replaces the sun disk token in the center with the one that they just bid.
The third thing players can do is that if they manage to collect a god tile when they're collecting tiles, they can use that as kind of a wild card, and they can use it to pull a different tile off the track and add it to their collection on their turn, which is pretty cool.
The epoch continues until everybody has used all of their sun disk tokens or until the Ra track fills up. Then players score points based on what tiles they've accumulated, and some tiles carry over until the next epoch, and some tiles only score at the end of all 3 epochs.
At the end of the 3rd epoch, players then total up all their scoring. They have a little handy-dandy player reference card that they've added to this version of the game, and it tells you what each set of tiles is worth and what the grand total is. Basically, players add up all the points they've got, and the one with the most points wins the game. Ryan, tell us what you think about the mechanic.
Well, the mechanic is pretty easy to grasp, and it works really well. I like how the Ra tokens force people to go into bidding. It makes the game have a sort of press your luck mechanic, and it adds an element of uncertainty. Theme.
So I do think that the theme is kind of interesting. Like, they've got tiles that all have specific names. You're collecting these monuments and civilizations, and there's kind of a story behind that. But in all honesty, it's really just tacked on. This game is a set collection game, and that's straightforward what it is. That being said, however, this version of the game is really, really gorgeous compared to the previous version. The new reprint, they added a lot of just really attractive thematic graphics, and it looks really sharp. I love some of the subtle things they did, like the board is actually got like a little bit of an emboss to it. It's really, really classy, and I think that helps the fact that the theme isn't really necessary in the game, but it looks really sharp. I think you will enjoy that part. Tell us about the replayability.
Subtle but fantastic. I believe those are the words you were going to use.
My exact quote.
Replayability. This game, because you're drawing tiles and there's so many tiles to choose from, I don't think you can go through all the tiles in a single game. So what might be a winning strategy in one game might not work at all in another game. So players have to be willing to be flexible and change their play style as they're going along. And I think that makes the game very replayable. Enjoyability.
It does. Because there are so many choices that you have in the game, it really does create a lot of fun. One other thing that you really have to put thought into is when you're changing out those sun tokens, you have to consider that I may be giving up a 15 to win this bid, but I'm getting a 2 in exchange, and so there's just lots and lots of things to think through. The only downside to the game is that because it's based on the number of tiles you have, you could easily spend like all 3 tiles on the first 3 turns of the game, and then you're out. Like, you have to wait till everybody else spends their tiles. Sometimes that downtime can be, it's got a little bit of downtime to it. We had a lot of fun though this past week when we were playing it, just because you're cheering for the red tiles to stack up. We were yelling like
rah, rah, rah.
Raw, red, raw.
Just not cheering the person on, we're cheering on the raw tile.
To get to the end of the game. Mostly it's because we didn't want Melissa to win, but whatever. Tantrum House gives Raw 2 thumbs up.
Next player, each person selects or decides to pass. They select a sun tile, sun disk. I lost it.
I had it. I thought we were going to
and then it was gone.
What do you think about that mechanic?
Well, the Ra token is not what I want to talk about right now. Go ahead and start over. I like how the Ra token
So tell us what you think about that mechanic.
Okay.